Welcome to Firm, folks. Mark Merrill here. Why is Maine last in the United States in just about every category? Here's Bobby Charles running for governor, the Republican Party.
Nobody can afford anything. The seniors are being pushed out of their homes because our property taxes are so high, our income taxes are high, our overall burden in this state is about the second or third in the country. And we're talking about a state where people make maybe $42,000 on average a year. The seniors are on fixed incomes. They cannot afford it, and they're getting pushed out of their houses, and they're getting priced out of their houses by the taxes. So, and then at the younger end of the scale, if you can believe this, kids under 35, I say kids at this age, but under 35 people, they are finding it almost impossible to buy a home. In fact, they cannot even rent a home because the differential between the median income and the median rental is $200 a month. So this state has become unaffordable. The taxes are through the roof, and I am planning to frankly get rid of the income tax. I have conscientiously looked at it. We've got accountants working on it. We will get rid of the income tax. We will cut this budget that has grown by 2 times in just 7 years. It's double what it was 7 years ago. We will get rid of all of that waste. We will literally set up a kind of Doge here in Maine and get back to a Norman Rockwell accountability. The second big issue we've got is nobody can afford anything. The seniors are being put.
That's just the beginning of Bobby Charles, folks. We got some more right here in just another second. Here's some more.
We have Mexicans coming right back to the Sinaloa cartel. We have the Chinese, not only with these grow houses, which I think the next governor should take down in the first 2 weeks period, but we've also got the distribution of fentanyl all over the state. The Dominican traffickers are all over the state, dividing it up like a board game. We have Mexicans coming right back to the Sinaloa cartel. We have the Chinese, not only with these grow houses, which I think the next governor should take down in the first 2 weeks period, but we've also got the distribution of fentanyl all over the state. The Dominican traffickers are all over the state, dividing it up like a board game. We have Mexicans coming right back to the Sinaloa cartel.
And for just extra,
I've got an interesting idea for you, really a question for you. President Trump and Ron DeSantis just stepped up and put a alligator Alcatraz in the middle of the Everglades. What do you think we take those who are illegally here and involved in fentanyl trafficking and Chinese grow houses and meth and crack cocaine trafficking, and we put them in a secure facility right here in Maine until they're deported? What do you think we should call it? Obviously not alligator Alcatraz, but maybe the Maine ice block? Maybe, give me a name. Because the next governor of Maine needs to be protecting citizens of Maine, not protecting illegal aliens. Instead of giving them luxury housing and EBT cards, we need to be putting them in our own version of alligator Alcatraz until they can be properly deported. What do you think we should call it? Just thinking.
not a bad idea, Mr. Charles. Not a bad idea at all. Once again, folks, Mark Merrill, as you see here before you, Firm is taking a look at why Maine is last in the United States in just about everything. About ready to go off the deep end into that chasm I keep talking about, or that abyss into socialism and communism, if we elect another damn Democrat. One more we're getting ready to put up here for you folks is a report from Maine Wire's Steve Robinson on why state taxpayer funds are being used illegally to support migrants by a state representative, Kristen Figueroa. He's got a report on that. And we'll also get to a profile, God forbid, from a Portland Press Herald article and partially a report from Maine Policy Institute on former CDC director Nirav Shah, who's announcing, as you can probably see here, Dr. COVID. Move it into your camera range here, folks. He's decided to run for governor. Isn't that lovely? Now, we're going into more detail about that in a few minutes, folks. First of all, we're going to get down and dirty here with the additional information that we've come across from the Maine Wire's Steve Robinson in regard to your and mine taxpayer funds being used illegally to support migrants by a state representative, Kristen Figueroa, that he reports on. And as we get that prepared, folks, we certainly do want you to know that we have always been on the ball when it comes to information here on FIRM, Fairness in Reporting Media, right back here. As you can see, we have the president at the top, which is where he should be, as well as our state minority leader, Billy Bob Fockingham, and Johnny on the spot all the time is Laurel Libby, who promotes also not only being back and having her voice back and her ability to discuss and pass policy again for the Auburn and Minot people who got sidelined back earlier this year, you recall, but got her rights back from the Supreme Court. But she also represents Speak Up for Life when it comes to protecting the unborn and stopping Janet Mills, Aaron Fry, Speaker Jackson, Speaker Fecto from all this garbage. Murder is what it is. It's not reproductive health care, folks. It's murder, and you know it. Truth, facts, reality, common sense, folks. Truth, facts, reality, and common sense is FIRM. As we are preparing here to get another article ready, folks, the whole thing, as far as, you know, the ridiculousness of the intensity of harsh treatment and foul play and procurement fraud, as we're about to show you here from our friend Steve Robinson. So we will bring that up for you right now. He is, of course, the executive director of the Maine Wire. Pardon, folks, we are getting a little technical difficulties here, but now we have Steve Robinson and his report here, once again, on why Maine taxpayers' funds are being used illegally to support migrants, and a little bit of an excerpt of State Representative Kristen Figueroa admitting it during a committee meeting earlier this year.
Certain documents, including these project justification forms. So several months later, I'm continuing to hound them, and they come back to me and say, sorry, we can't provide these records. We just don't have the system. We don't even know how we'd possibly wrap our tiny little state worker brains around fulfilling a Freedom of Access Act request, like handing over these documents, which we're required to hand over, and we're also required to display publicly for a period of 7 days anyways. So they can't figure out how to do it. Fast forward to this week, me, big, huge Maine Wire brain, I decide to type out a little program and automatically download all of these PDFs from the Maine.gov website. So we now have 4,500 project justification forms that we're sorting through, and lo and behold, we find this one, a project justification form that shows that just prior to her re-election, Governor Janet Mills spent more than $800,000 on long-term medical care for a non-citizen. This is a $800,000 expenditure for a non-citizen who is ineligible for Medicaid to live at a facility in Oakland, Maine. I don't know if you're aware, but the nursing bed shortage situation in Maine is pretty severe. We have no indication as to how this illegal alien got here. Did they claim asylum? Why aren't they eligible for Medicaid? Why haven't they been deported? Why is it the burden of the Maine taxpayer to pay $800,000 to take care of this individual? There's no details. And, oh, by the way, there's also a cover-up because the Mills administration refused to turn over these documents in response to a Freedom of Access Act request. And we've only started digging into the documents that they refused to turn over to us. So I think we're going to find more evidence of what State Auditor Matt Dunlap found in his audit, which was that the money is being spent
non-transparently through a no-bid process and then authorized after the fact as this contract was. What we're looking at here is procurement fraud. It's looking more and more like what we're looking at here is criminal in nature. The way that this administration has been spending taxpayer money, the hardworking taxpayers of the state of Maine have been paying for the Mills administration to give lavish 24/7 healthcare benefits to non-citizens, and they've been covering it up for more than 6 years.
Thank you there, Steve. We do appreciate his input on that, ladies and gentlemen. And we have, as we continue on here on Firm, our features about why Maine is last in the United States on just about everything. Taxes. And we'll have a wrap-up for you as to what we're exactly talking about here, and we will certainly talk about that in just another moment here. We got to clear some things up here for you, and we do appreciate your patience while you take a look at our, of course, our President of the United States in back of us here. He's certainly one of the people that has things under control as far as the federal level. And as we continue to get things done here, folks, we will move along shortly to our story in regard to Nirav Shah getting, of course, into the ring, unfortunately for the rest of us here, to excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, as he throws his hat into the ring, unfortunately, to become governor himself. Just what we need, right? Another hateful Dr. Doom is what I'd like to call him. We call him Dr. COVID for short. This is a real yikes moment, folks. It has been ever since Janet Mills got into office, apparently, after 2019, and then COVID hits, and all of a sudden she thinks she's the queen of denial. Deny everything that Donald Trump tried to pass back in his 2016 election. As she became governor, unfortunately, it was going to throw us to the wolves of COVID doctors like him, Anthony Fauci, and other ones, never mind having to fight the mainstream media. So the article, folks, that we're about to show here is from the Portland Press Herald, as we probably had mentioned. It says he, Dr. Shah, face of Maine's COVID-19 response, was a top federal health official in the Biden administration as well, and criticized Trump's administration for public health priorities as incorrect. And I'm thinking, well, that really doesn't matter, because he was not a help at all when it came to getting these vaccines done correctly. So as we pull that up here, folks, Mr. Shah, or Dr. Shah, they call him, from some of the remarks posted on the Portland Press Herald site here, was a level-headed, decent, and human being, and was a resource when COVID hit. This person says they believe Dr. Shah's leadership, quality, patience, humility, and ability to connect with people who disagreed or didn't trust his advice outshined that of everyone else. Dr. Shah is a good candidate, says another. His experience navigating through COVID was exemplary. I don't think so. This person and others, I guess, in her party, sounds like they are liberals, or at the very least, left-wing radicals. attended recent meetings where Dr. Shah was a speaker and spoke of issues that are many focused on truthful areas with dignity. Another one was a Taylor fan, says Shah is a wise man and observed at the beginning of COVID that decisions regarding the shutting down of everything, businesses, hospitality, industry, churches, and schools, were too important to be left to the scientists. 5 years of hindsight, this person believes the observation has been proven accurate. I think Dr. Shah's advice in hindsight was accurate as well. For the critics of Dr. Shah and Governor Mills' policies during the pandemic, Maine has the oldest population in the United States. Not quite. I think Florida does. COVID kills the elderly and those with compromised immune systems. If we had anyone but those two heroes leading the charge in Maine, thousands more would have died. Nah, I don't think so. I think we would have saved more lives. Shah would be a great governor. He has executive branch experience, good policy knowledge in crucial areas, and excellent communication skills. This person called Solidarity says, would certainly rank him highly in the ranked choice ballot. Yikes. And one about the taxpayers. A poster by the name of Fixit 04240 said, we need someone that is taxpayer conscious, no more cars for $100 a month or 2 years of which the working citizen could not afford. I mean, really, a 2023 or 24 for a total of $2,400 is a steal that we pay for while the working person has to drive a 2010, and not surprising, many are immigrants. Well, that's about the whole feature here, folks, for today's program here on Firm. Mark Merrill here. As always, Nirav Shah is certainly not one of the candidates you want to keep in mind for governor of the state as we move forward into 2026. In the meantime, thank you for joining us on Firm, where truth, facts, reality, and common sense are the norm. Pray for our country, our president, and our Republican leaders here, Billy Bob Falkingham and Laurel Libby and others, to lead our state out of this tyrannical, treasonous hellhole. Everyone out there, stay safe. Peace to all.